Woo! Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tim and this is Tim the Trailman, and I've got an exciting install for you today. I've got Morimoto's XB headlights, LED headlights for my 2024 2500 HD Silverado. So as you know, the Chevrolet Silverado with the lower trim levels like mine, the custom, because I only paid $70,000 for it, it comes with these abysmal halogen headlights. That's not going to cut it up here in Alaska. I need more lights. You know me, and LEDs are the way to go. So for this, we're going to do a full assembly replacement and not just the bulbs. I'm going to go through the whole install in this video, and then later do a separate video on a review of what I think of them and if they're worth the upgrade. And real quick, a big thank you to Morimoto. They did send me these headlights and they're sponsoring this video, so thank you, Morimoto. Okay, so real quick, let me throw up the specs on these headlights straight from the Morimoto website so you can see the output of these. These are the full LEDs, they're not the hybrid, so they are a little bit brighter, and then the turn signal portion is an LED as well, where the hybrid stays halogen and the output's a little bit less. Also throughout this video, if you can hear a noise in the background, I'm sorry, that's the boiler for my house. My house and garage is all in one, and the boiler keeps me warm. It's currently 1 degree outside while I'm filming this, so I apologize if you hear that noise in the background. Okay, so the most enjoyable thing to do is pull off this cover and reveal the headlight. And so here, full LED, 3 LEDs, and this gets covered up by the trim from the truck. I think they just look amazing. Let's go ahead and uncover the next one. Alrighty. So that's both headlight assemblies, the full XB LED headlight. Again, this goes to the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado. I believe they also go a little bit older, back to the 2020. If you are doing the 2024 or newer, you do need an adapter kit for the headlights. I don't know exactly where this plugs into, but when we get over to the truck, we'll figure that out. And then within the kit, there is an adapter harness that will go into the parking lamp setup to operate the LEDs, the DRLs, and the backlighting and stuff like that. So we'll figure out how that goes into the fuse box as well, running off of the parking lamps, I believe. Real quick, before we head over to the truck, let's go ahead and see what tools we're gonna need to do the job. Okay, so from the right to left, metal trim tool for some rivets, got some plastic trim tools for some other clips and things like that. We've got a T15 on a socket. We've got a T20. This is the T20, yep. This is a T15. We've got a Phillips screwdriver. We have a standard screwdriver. We got some needle nose. You can use a cordless power tool if you'd like. Got a manual ratchet with extension. And then we've got the classic Chevrolet 7mm and then 10mm. So this should be all the tools that we need. I don't think the wiring will require any cutting or anything like that. It should just be able to do fuse buddies in the fuse box. So let's get over to the truck and see what we can do. All right, to get these headlights installed, it's gonna be a little bit different on different trim models. I've seen where this plastic trim here on this side stops right here or goes up here. So depending on if the grill says Chevrolet across or it's got the bow tie on it or not, may make a difference. It might also make a difference if it's a work truck, custom, LT, LTZ, or high country, if you already have LED headlights and things. But this one is for halogen headlight upgrades to an LED. I don't even know if you actually can upgrade from LED to LED or not, but hopefully you wouldn't need to, because those trucks are $90,000. So to get this done, all you gotta do is, no, you got to do the work. You actually have to replace it. So what we're actually going to do is get over here to underneath the hood and start with the trim there and undo those rivets. Okay, so there is 2 things underneath the hood here. The first is you want to take off these 2 T15 screws. It's just going to hold the release lever, the plastic lever that allows you to open the hood once you go ahead and pop that. So take these out. Set those over there, and then it slides off like that. Put that in there, and then there's 9 plastic trim pieces here to go ahead and pop up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one got a little stuck in here. 7, 8, 9. All right, so we can set that up there. And then this is just going to release like that, and we'll set it off to the side. All right, and then next we needed to get the 10 millimeter 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and use the drill for this. Help if I put it on the bolt. Put those in there. And then that is loose like that. So we'll lift that up here shortly. Okay, so now we're over here on the passenger side of the truck, and we need to take the wheel liner loose here in the front half of it, and there's a little T15s all over the place, and then there's going to be a trim rivet up there. There's a 7 millimeter bolt right behind here that allows this, actually it's like right here, to allow this cover to release, and then we'll have to release this trim to get off that. So you can start anywhere you like. I believe there's 3 or 4 of these. I grabbed the T20. They're the T15. Be right back. All right, it helps if you grab the right one. I knew it was a T15. I just didn't grab the right Torx driver. So we got one here, and then one here. It's good to have the ratchet with the T15 as well, because there is 1 and 2 right here in front of the tire, and with it on a ratchet, it's easier to get to it. If you have one of those fancy cordless ratchets, that would be beneficial too. I just don't have one. Okay, so right up here is the rivet. That's 1, and there's so that's 1 rivet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T15s, and with those removed, I should be able to just take this fender liner and take that back. Just enough so I can release this plastic. And behind here, there is plastic clips. Let's see if I can get them to release. Okay. Let's see, I need one more to come loose. And it's right here. There we go. All right. And then right there is that 7 millimeter. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to hold this back maybe. Maybe pop this a little bit loose. Here are the rivets or plastic clips that you want to release to get them out of these holes to pull this back. And you can see up there, maybe I can get one more, but maybe I can get my socket in there. So let me see what happens. All right, see if I just pull that back a little bit. Also could have gotten a 7 millimeter wrench. Loosen it. Whew, that is a mile-long bolt just to hold that little plastic trim in right there. So we should be able to now pull on this. Oh yeah, there is a little tab back here I'll show you in a second. There it goes. Oh, there it goes. Release it. Release it. Let me back you up here a little bit. All right, so got this pulling forward. Should be able to, hopefully. This is loose. And this should release off of, let me get a plastic trim tool. There we go. So that's releasing off of there. And this is trying. There we go. Okay. So like I said, some of the other videos, the trucks release here. So what I need to do is go to the other side and repeat all of this. Take those screws out, release this, and then this white painted trim should come off. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so real quick, this little tab is where the 7mm went through. So you want to pull this out to get that done. And then one of the T15s went through right there. And then all of this released. So let me show you. There is that tab. And then on this side, just for experimental purposes, I did need to pull that T15 there, but I left the others in. Let me turn on the flash here. So I left the other screws in just to try it out. And you can get it, you can release this because this is just held onto the bumper. But as I mentioned, you can see maybe right there, let me zoom in, that clip did break on me. We'll see how it sticks. But the other T15s, one goes in right there, so I didn't have to release that. But you do have to release that one there. And then let me show you the front of the truck. So the main grill is still in. We're about to take that off. But as you can see, for mine on this 2024, kind of a pain in the neck because all that's one piece. But let's go ahead and pop this off here. What I do believe needs to happen is down inside here, right there, is a clip that I'll pull on here, and then here, and then 10mm bolt there, and then 10mm bolt there. And I think the grill should be out. So let me set you down and let's see what happens here. All right, and then, okay, so that one's loose, and then, okay, that one's loose. It's kind of weird because this here keeps wanting to pop back on, but you also need to release this off the headlights. So let's see, that's screwed onto the headlights, and I think this white trim should pop off. Nope, not there. All right, so I figured that out. It took me a second or two. There's white clips that just push into the existing OE headlight, and I was able to get a trim tool back there to kind of release it like so. And then this will lift up. So this white piece stays attached to that. So once I pick that up, this should be loose. This is loose. And then, there we go. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right, settle down. It's all okay. Let me flip this around. So there's 1, 2, 3. That's where your two 10mm went through. I was just comparing what this was here It is not identically to that side, but it was throwing me off because there's nothing broken off there. So these 3 clips, let me show you, set this down here, go into 1, 2, 3, and then these are not used on this trim style. There's clips here and here, and then these 2 are here in the middle. Let me double check. Yeah, so there are clips up right here that go there. So that's where you want to release the clip. I'm gonna set this and the other piece off to the side. Okay, let me show you real quick. These little screws right here with these T20s, we need to transfer these over to the new headlights. But to get the headlight out, it should be 1 10mm, 2 10mm. Should be 2 more 10 millimeters right there. And then I see 1 here and 1 here. So 2, 4, 6. Let's see what happens here. All right, those are all the same length. So we should be able to just pick this up. You do want to release this tab up here. I'll show you in a second if I can get it out easily. Going to get a trim tool. So there's a little tab up here. I'll show you where it's at on the headlight. There we go. Okay. And then once it's undone, I can't not get the camera back here and hold this. So I'll show you how this works in a second. Okay, so I got it out. Let me show you how this connector works. So it starts off with it pushed in, and then you release that tab, and then you can push down on that. So just pull the red back and then push that down. Let me see if I can show you with it plugged in back here what it looks like. So you can see there, that's the red tab pulled in. And so you can't push down on that black tab until you pull out the red tab. So once you pull out the red tab, you push down the black tab, and then the headlight disconnects. So let me get this one out of here. Right there on that tab, that's the one that you want to lift up. Let me see if I can hold it and show it to you. So right there, that tab, you want to lift up on that with a trim tool. Let me show you where that goes here on top of the truck. So it kind of indexes right there. So the screw's there, but you gotta lift that up a little bit to get it out of that hole. Let's take a look. That's what the truck looks like without the headlights in it. And here's that other connector. Pro tip, go ahead and when you pull this back, push this down, but push forward towards the front of the truck to get that tab to release off there. Mine had a little bit of dirt and corrosion from the trip, but overall, not too bad. So let's go ahead and now transfer over these pieces to the new headlights, and then we'll look up the harness and everything like that. Okay, so those were T20s, and I moved them over to the new headlights so you can see the difference there. And then for the other side, they're removed there and there. And then let me go ahead and show you real quick. This is the adapter harness from the truck's harness. Morimoto, they don't provide this. You have to buy this separate from the kit. So if yours is a 2024 or most likely newer, make sure that you buy that. I think it's about an extra $15 for those adapters. I don't know what would happen without them, but I do know for mine, I need those. So be sure to get those. Now let's go ahead and bolt those up, and then we'll figure out how to run the harness for the DRLs across the top. And then for mine, we're gonna go ahead and put it in this fuse box. I do actually already have some parking lamps wired into some lighting. That's right there, that has some backlighting, but let's see, I think there's another one that I can use as well. But let's go ahead and set those on there. This one here is going to be for the driver's side. It only plugs in one way. And then this connector should be for the DRL. And then let me actually get you here real quick. Let me set this. Stay. Okay. Sorry, I'm like sitting here talking and you can't see what I'm talking about. So this should be where the wire comes from the parking lamp for the DRLs. from the fuse box. And then I need to look up the instructions, but I do believe here, if this is plugged in, it's sequential turn signal, or unplugged, it's sequential. It's one or the other. So we'll unplug one, leave it unplugged when we turn the truck on, and then we will leave the other one plugged in and see which one's which for the turn signals. So let me bolt these in and I'll be right back. Okay, so they're plugged in. Let me get the key to the truck. We should just be able to lock it. All right, that looked like sequential to me on that one. We'll unlock it. And then marker lights, on. Headlights, all three of those are lit up. I'm checking the other side off camera, they're all lit up. And then let's go ahead and test for a high beam. Oh yeah. You can like hear the LED thing like really fire those up. That is crazy. All right, so let's hit the turn signals on now. And it is sequential there. Let me go ahead and turn it off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach in there and unplug that connector and see if that changes it. I haven't looked up the instructions, it's just a hunch that I'm going off of. Set the flashlight down. There is some room to work back here with it bolted up. Not much room. Let's see if I can. Oh man, it's actually a little bit more difficult than I thought to get that tab up there. Let's see if I can get a second hand in here. There we go. Two hands is the trick. Okay, so now the one connector is unplugged on the back, and you can see that is a solid on there. And then with it plugged in, it's a sequential. Tell me in the comments, sequential or solid on the turn signal, and whichever one gets the most comments is the way that I'll run it. Real quick, with just the marker lights on, that looks really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put it all back together, but I'm gonna clean up the white panels and paint because that'll be the easiest time to clean them up. Put it all back together, and then we'll do a final test, and I'll show you before I put this together how I run that in there and put the wires. But I'm gonna put all the trim and everything back together because that will be the easiest thing to do for me, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I looked up the instructions and they want us to use the fuse 40 right there, which according to this chart, let's see if we can read it, is a miscellaneous body ignition 10 amp fuse, and it goes right there. So I pulled it out, and the way this cover goes, this actually fits like this over it and then goes like that. Now what I don't see in a lot of the videos that I looked up just to see if I'm going crazy is that like I've already ran one wire through here for the backlighting, but you might have to notch the fuse box and or this cover here. You can see that I've trimmed that a little bit to get the wires to fit through there. Some of the videos just say put that fuse in, put the cover on, and you're good to go, but mine is most likely not gonna be able to do that if I didn't already notch that. But let me go ahead and put that on and I'll tell you how it goes, and then we'll just run this wire over to it. But this is for the daytime running lamp. The Chevrolets have the halogen light that runs during the day, and with the ignition on, this is their way of accomplishing that. So you'll have daytime running lamps on. We're not gonna be able to test that out tonight while I'm doing this because basically I'm in my garage and my auto headlights turn on all the time. So we'll have to get a picture of that come daytime. Okay, so right there is my one harness. Actually, let me see if I can zoom in a little closer. All right, so the one from Morimoto, the one that I made, that's two harnesses. And this one, I just need to run over here, go down there, and then over to that side. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. All right, so the DRL cable from the fuse box, zip tied it up there, plugged it in down there, and then ran it across the core support here underneath the hood latch. You can see this little loose zip tie there, and then tucked the rest in there and plugged in there. So the DRLs are connected. We'll check that out when it's daytime, hopefully tomorrow, And what I'm gonna do is put this back together and then show you the finished product. And then we're gonna go drive it at night and do a fair comparison for the halogen headlights versus these XB LED headlights. So let me put it all back together and I'll be right back. Okay, the last thing that would have been easier to show you before I put the headlights in would have been to show you that adjustment screw right there. You can take a Phillips screwdriver or something and see if I can get this to focus, but I think you know what I'm talking about. That screw down there, right there, with a Phillips screwdriver, you can turn that adjustment to aim them up or down, and that's on both headlights. So something long, I don't even have a screwdriver that will fit down there. So hopefully they're aimed, or maybe I'll just get flashed all the time. But let's take it outside and drive it and see what the difference is. Okay, starting out here, this is just the regular halogen headlights. And to my surprise on camera, this is the dash camera. No editing or anything like that. They are brighter. There's the high beams there. And you can tell the difference a little bit on the close quarters with the shoulders of the road. But normally driving on an open road, you actually cannot tell much difference between the high beams and the low beams. But they do look brighter here on camera. So driving it though, the halogens just don't really do it. Here you can see backing up and you can see the LEDs on the mirrors just lighting up behind the truck. I was curious about that. But overall, not really impressed with the halogens, and half the time you can't even tell that they're on. So the high beams again, and just not really doing it for me. Now, talking about these XB headlights. Just pulling out of the garage, you can see the difference. Not that warm yellow, but a bright white. And driving it is nice. The high beams, not a big difference there, but the low beams are night and day between the halogen light bulbs, as to be expected. And they come with a price point, of course, at $1,800. But I've been driving it now for a couple of days while editing this video, and just overall super impressed. Right out the box, no aiming. And so far driving it, seeing a lot of people on the road, no one has flashed me with their headlights. So they're aimed decently out the box, but I might want to touch them up here in a little bit. But overall, super impressed. All right, so there you have it. That is the install video of these Morimoto XB headlights on a 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 heavy duty. Thank you again to Morimoto Lighting for sending these to me. Overall, you're looking at about an hour. It took me maybe an hour and a half with the filming piece of it, but really it's just a couple screws to get the bumper cover off, a couple screws for the headlight, and then all the harness actually plug and play. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I wasn't sure if we were going to have to like cut, strip, butt connect, solder, whatever. But none of that's the deal. This is a plug and play kit. So let me know in the comments if roughly $1,800 is worth the extra lighting, or the appeal, the aesthetics, the looks, if you buy lights for looks versus function or whatnot. But overall, I'm pretty pleased. And like I said, I'm gonna do another video here in a week or two after I drive around, see if I'm getting flashed, adjust them, if I'm pleased with it, how they're holding up, if there's any moisture or anything like that. So make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell. It really does help the channel. And put in the comments, what do you think? Worth the money? Thanks for watching.